Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Guude has gotten us mending, and apparently you have to
It's not
have
that
the
great.
item in your hand for it to work. So
Yeah,
I'm trying
it's
to
not.
offhand an almost dead pig that he mended and killing some enemies here and see if it works. It is not going up very high at all.
I mean, it'll work, but it's not as great as you think it might be.
We need to let it
You know,
night,
I'm only
though,
used to.
and we actually just kill stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Or you could, go to the spawner or whatever and hold stuff. I guess.
Yeah.
So you had anything exciting happen this week?
Well, I have a very interesting topic to bring up because it's weird because it's kind of a controversial topic, but I still want to talk about it because of the circumstances surrounding this particular facet of it. So it'll be very interesting having a conversation with two white males like ourselves about this and what it's about. Obviously, in the past, and I'm trying to preface this to say that I'm not against the movement. I do understand that there's been problems in the past, so that's not what I'm referring to. But I'm referring to what something has become. And the whole Black Lives Movement matter started because of police brutality against African Americans, blacks, different cultures and this and that. And completely understand there was some terrible shit that happened with, mainly white police officers, black people, unarmed black people, like all that. I get that. I'm not trying to argue against that fact at all. But there's been a lot of articles in the news lately, as well as a lot of, there was a random YouTube video I came across the other day where it was this guy who just started videotaping because cops were questioning him because he fit a description, quote unquote, in this parking complex. And the title of the video is something about, former black cop gets hassled because he's not white, is like what the title of this video was. And I was like, all right, this would be kind of interesting to watch. And the whole thing was literally just this guy sitting there and yelling at all these police officers about how they have no right to talk to him because the police officers are all white and he's a black guy. He's like, why are you stopping me? And they said, we're not stopping you. We're just trying to talk to you. We had a complaint about an individual who fits your description, doing this, that, the other in this area. So I'm just asking you, what are you doing here to make sure to follow up on this complaint? And he was just going, off and getting all upset at the police and all this stuff. And it was, all part of this, whole cultural thing. But I see that stuff all the time on these videos, these news articles and all that stuff lately, especially after this, Black Lives movement started a while ago. It's a lot more in the forefront of people's minds. I get it. But I was reading an article today I came across because it happened to be a story about in DC, and the headline was something like, black father questioned by police for walking through park or something like that. And I opened up the article, and to my surprise, a friend of mine's picture is the picture of the person on this article.
Okay.
So I know this guy married a girl, one of the girls I went to nursing school with. I know the guy, great guy, hilarious guy, fun guy.
It's time to sleep. Oh wait, we're gonna fight stuff. I guess we're gonna fight stuff.
Oh yeah, we should not sleep and fight things too. Let me go get the really old pick into my hand. And I'm reading the article, and it was interesting because this article was almost from a different perspective, and which is good. And it was from the perspective of, he said that he had it was a security officer of a park had approached him, and he was confused as to why this person was approaching him, or driving on the street next to the walking path in the park, honked his horn at him, and he said, I couldn't figure out why they were honking their horn at me, and then they signaled me to stop and got out and came and talked to me. And he said, and the person came up and said, are you I'm stopping you because somebody called in a complaint about a black man walking a baby through this park. And I don't remember, the complaint was something about acting creepy or something weird like that. And they said, so we're just talking to you for a minute because, of the description, and we just want to make sure there's nothing crazy going on. And he's even talking about, he's like, the exchange with the security guard and everything was very pleasant. There was no problems with that. It's just the strange concept and feeling that, I got stopped and had to deal with this. Like, what if it really was the police? And, given all those stories that happened before, it could have been a completely different outcome, is exactly what this person, the person that I personally know and had no idea that this happened to, said. So he's sitting there and even saying, like, the security guard pleasant, there was no problem with the interaction. It was just, the quote unquote matching the description and why he was being talked to. And for whatever reason made this, into a big news article. I don't know quite what happened because there was nothing major that came out of the thing.
Uh-huh.
And he posted it on his Facebook, which I found after I found the article. And the people commenting on his post and his Facebook post, it was so much hatred directed toward police and security and how this type of thing needs to stop. I can't believe that. You should sue, like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think I'm just confused at this point as to what is this part of the movement about anymore.
I don't want to comment.
Well, it doesn't seem like, and this is where I get really lost, is if there's a complaint about something, and you call the police on a complaint for whatever it is, suspicious behavior or whatever, you're calling them because you expect them to follow up, correct?
Right.
And if it was called on the fact that it was, somebody who matches a description and the only person you find in that area matches that description,
here's one thing I think. So regarding descriptions, I feel like it's more prominent that the description of someone when calling the police could be so vague as a black man versus a white man. I don't feel like it's often that you call the police and say, saw a white man walking a baby, he's a creep, versus I saw a black man walking a baby, he's a creep. I feel like he's a black man is used more often, or even, in my neck of the woods, a Mexican. So I feel like there's a little bit of like preconceived thinking.
And I would completely agree with you on that. I do feel that in general, white people are probably more, quote unquote, creeped out by black people to where they feel more afraid and willing to call and say something's not right in this area. I completely agree with you there. But I'm thinking like, and maybe it's probably because it doesn't happen often, that
it's never ever happened to me. I've never ever had a police officer or anyone walk up to me and say, we got to call about a white man, because that's not enough. Like everyone have to, you know what I mean? There's so many white people that's not enough to go on. Like, but in this guy's case, it was, we got to call about a black man. So that's all they have to go on.
But
black guy.
But the ironic thing is, I guess that also depends on where you're at, because saying that there's so many white people, it's not enough to go on. There's also so many black people here that's not enough to go on.
Exactly. So they stop at every single black man and saying, hey, got to call about a black man. Are you that black man?
And it looks like in this case, it was because it was relatively desolate and he was one of the few people in this park or on this path at the time. Well, and that's where I'm getting confused, because if somebody did call and say a white man wearing a red T-shirt and blue jeans.
I mean, yeah, there's more than that, but was there more than that, or was it just a black man? I don't know.
So the video that I was talking about that I saw, yes, and it was funny because the guy kept complaining about it in the video, because he started videoing when the police got there because he felt all profiled and all, and they straight up said the description that we were given by the person in this apartment complex, that somebody was walking around their apartment complex in a way that did not look like they were supposed to be there. It was a black man with a black shirt and black shorts or something like that. And they kept explaining to this guy, like, I'm only talking to you because you match this description. And he's like, there's, a bunch of black people wearing black shirts and black shorts around here. But the video is like, it's not, you can't see that there's anybody else there. So I have no idea. But it was more than just a black person. It was a description. I don't know about this case that I'm talking about, because the news article didn't actually go into exactly what the description was. But it did say a black person with a baby. I don't know how many of them were there. I have no clue. But
did he have a baby?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know what the, like, when does the expectation go to the fact that you don't even go check out a description or a complaint that was called in? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I said, I preface this, I understand that there's a problem in our society right now with the senseless shootings and things like that have happened. I get that.
Right.
But are you supposed to just not follow up on anything anymore? As like a
I'm
police
not saying
officer?
that. I just feel like
Well, and that's where
that it's a no-win situation.
Well, and that's where I get confused. So what is it currently about when articles like this come out? Is that article supposed to be talking about that it was like racial profiling? I couldn't even figure it out from the article because it talked about, like, even this guy saying how his interactions with the people were very pleasant. Like there was no issues that happened in his interactions. It wasn't like they came up and started harassing him.
Right.
And
so what were they reporting on then?
I don't know. I don't know why the article existed. And the next time I see this guy, I'm going to kind of ask him, like, what more was there to this article? Because I don't get it. I don't get why it was enough to be a news article. Like, what was it based off of? Because it doesn't sound like there was anything bad that happened, anything negative that happened. It sounds like your interaction was like less than 5 minutes with this person.
Right.
And life moved on.
Well,
and
he made a video, right?
He made a video? He didn't. It was a news article.
Oh,
No, he didn't. As far as I know, there's no video. The news article was a picture of him and his baby that the reporters took.
I see.
There was no video.
Wait, so why were the reporters there?
No, I think they...
Who called the reporters?
I don't know.
How did the reporters get involved?
I have no idea. I have not a clue.
Maybe he did.
It's possible that he did. And that's why I want to ask him, like, is there more to this article then? Like, because I don't... And like I said, it probably sounds really bad to some people listening to this because, of course, I'm a white male. I don't deal with the racial prejudice that comes more prevalently to non-whites in this society. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like pretty much non-existent for us, right?
Yeah, pretty much, I would say. I would agree. I've never also been harassed because I was like this random white guy that looked creepy all of a sudden in this.
I mean, I was harassed on the school bus because I was a white guy. But I guess that's different.
I mean, I guess not in your area if you said it was predominantly non-white.
Well, yeah, this is Rock Hill, South Carolina, and most of it was like probably 80 to 90% of the people on the bus were non-white, and so yeah, the white boys were picked on.
I just wish I could understand all the intricacies of it more because, like I said, when really bad things happen, when the unarmed black guy got shot by the police for absolutely no reason, yeah, that's a travesty. Somebody needs to lose their job / go to jail over something like that. I'm fully behind that. But all these like random videos I've seen and news articles I've read, I don't begin to understand what they're trying to come across with.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly have tried to stay clear of this subject matter.
See, I just talk about it all because I want to know. I want to know. I want to understand.
Well, I don't think we can understand. I really truly believe that we can't understand and we never will understand. And that's what it's like.
And that's possible. Never understand what it's like. And is that what it was about because of what it felt like to be profiled?
Probably. I wouldn't know what to do if I was profiled. I wouldn't.
Well, and is that profiling? Like if somebody actually did stop me and say, you match the description of this, white male with blue jeans and a red shirt walking through this area doing something that looked like it might not be kosher, would I be upset?
But does that ever happen? I think that's the real question.
And that's why it's a question I can't really answer because I don't know. I've never been in that situation. I don't know if I'd be upset. My gut tells me I would not be, but I've never been in that situation, so I don't know.
Well, and then you know what? I don't think you would be upset because it's never happened, and it isn't something you've heard about happening on a regular basis and that sort of thing. You'd be like, "Oh, good, doing your job. Good day. I'll go on being a white guy."
I think it's got to be so difficult now for police officers in general who are trying to do the best of their ability and follow up and make
Sure,
sure negative things aren't happening, and they're like, well, we just got this complaint about this person matches this description, I better not talk to him because that would be bad, and then have like a murder or something like that happen afterwards.
I don't think that. I mean, I think the cops are still basically doing what they got to do. I think it's people outside of the realm of the police officers that are often the ones that instigate the need for this. But I also think that there's tons of corrupt cops too, and
I agree
cops that
as
do
well.
things they shouldn't, and lots of people become cops for reasons that they were picked on in school, so now I'm going to be a cop, that sort of thing. You hear about that all the time too. So I don't know. It's a very imperfect system. I do believe that anyone that carries a gun should also have a camera strapped to their body, and anything they do should be public knowledge. Basically, I mean, they are public servants. So anything they do should be on public display.
How about the average American citizen with a gun?
I don't think people should be allowed to conceal carry. Personally, I don't see any need for concealed carry, and that shouldn't be a thing. But I also don't like whenever I go to the grocery store and there's some guy walking around with a gun on his hip. My daughter said several times that freaks her out. So I don't like to be in that situation either. I don't feel any safer because some fucking idiot's got a gun on his hip. So I don't see the need to go grocery shopping with a gun either.
Well, it's like the irony. Today came out some more breakdown of the whole Las Vegas shooting, and Stephen Paddock, the Las Vegas shooter. I guess it came out that there's first-hand testimony of him going to NRA meetings and giving speeches to people on how they really need to stand up against the government because the government's trying to take away their guns.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was an article that came out today with some more information that has been uncovered over the last few months or whatever, and searching at that stuff.
I mean, there's a lot of states that are banning things like assault rifles and stuff on the local level, even if it's not a federal thing. And I think people should be allowed to have guns to hunt and that sort of thing, but nothing that can kill hundreds of people within 5 minutes. It just isn't necessary, in my opinion.
What if there's hundreds of deer?
Right, and I'm opening a buffet. I mean, it's dumb.
Right, yeah, what if you run an all-you-can-eat buffet and it's fresh served venison at all times? And
right, I mean, okay, you know what? In that case, I'll give you a pass.
You have to apply for a
right. You
reason.
need the buffet license. If you get the buffet license, you're good.
Keep going on the same layer and realizing that the above me is getting taller. So now I've just made a death drop.
Yeah, stop that. Go top down.
It got tall up there.
You're also making a mess on the wall over here, Jeff. You need to control your swing. This is like golf.
Control your swing.
I am. And stop leaving your mess all over the ground. This isn't your house.
But I like a mess on the ground.
It's just, I know where it's at. No, you don't.
No, I will tell you, it's kind of funny. Julia's sister has been living with us for the past multiple months.
She has?
Yeah. Yeah, that room that you stay in, she's been living in for a while.
Oh, God.
She moved
I guess I shouldn't come visit then.
She moved from New York. Well, she's only here like half the time anyway because she works a job where she travels all the time. And she moved from New York and just hasn't gotten her own place yet. For once, it's saving rent. She wants to get her own place, and she's probably going too soon because she says she feels like an imposition, but she's really not because she watches the baby and things like that. But
yeah,
she definitely has her own style of living, and she is one of those people who, for whatever reason, does not ever turn lights off on rooms she leaves. So every day, multiple times a day, the bathroom light is just on. And that's something that kind of drives me insane. I've known that she's like this for years because, I've known her for years and known like when she just comes and hangs out with us when she used to live in D.C. and would come over and party, the bathroom light was always freaking on because she just doesn't turn it off.
That's funny.
It's very... I just don't get it. I don't get why would you not turn the light off. It just doesn't make any sense to me. When you walk,
some people believe that it takes more to power on something than it does to leave it on.
That's her thought process.
Might not be. Isn't that true for like fluorescent lights? Based on how long you leave them on or something like that?
I mean, I know it was true. Who did we talk to? Was it in San Antonio? For PAX South? When they were talking about the air conditioning, I don't know how we got on the conversation of air conditioning.
That was at EA, wasn't it?
I didn't go to
EA.
EA.
Wait, no, that was in Canada. Never mind. EA's office is in Canada. They leave the air conditioner on all the time because they tried cutting it off when people weren't there, and it takes more power to recool than it does to
right. And that's what they were
keep it
saying
cool.
about the hall, the conference
Convention
hall,
center.
or convention center. It might have actually been in Europe. It might have been Minecon Europe.
Okay. Yeah, that would make more sense. Well, yeah, because we haven't ever had a. Oh no, we had a booth at PAX South. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it one of those?
I don't remember.
Somewhere we had a booth.
Yeah. So that I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the general light though. I have heard about your car that starting a car takes as much gas as like running it for 30 minutes or something like that.
I wonder if that's true. You know, I leave my car running while I wait for my daughter at school, and that's always like an hour. And I noticed my gas difference between the hour when I sat there whenever I leave. Like I definitely use a lot of gas just sitting there idling. I've always thought about that as a weird thing. Like, you know how lawnmowers, it doesn't have an odometer that measures distance traveled. It measures engine hours.
Right.
Why isn't it cars? Why don't cars do that? Because I sit there in my car idle. I mean, shit, I could sit in my car every day and run the engine for, until I need a gas, and then go get gas, and might have a car that's only got 100 miles on it, but I might have 100,000 hours of engine time. You know what I mean?
I would bet you if you have a car that's newer than 1990, that somewhere in the computer chip it does store that information.
Right, but as a buyer, you're never given that information.
No, maybe it's because I think we're too stupid to use it. My fire engine, however, has an engine hour runtime on it and a pump hour runtime on it.
Huh.
I don't know if that's just because it's diesel. Maybe diesels are different.
Well, not diesel cars, I know. They don't show it, at least. Again,
they still. Yeah, I've never owned a diesel vehicle, so I don't know. But I know the engines in the ambulances both have stuff for them. But I bet you that has more to do with the required maintenance that you're probably expected to upkeep on a.
Well, that's the thing too. Is I change my oil X number of miles. Well, I mean, I never hit my mileage, so I always change it in once a year. But if I did hit my mileage, you would change it every 5,000 miles or whatever. So again, I sit in my car idle all the time. I wonder if I should be changing my oil more than I do.
I mean, probably. I mean, what they usually say, there's a manufacturer's recommendation, which is usually way different than what any oil change place will tell you, because they want to get you in there a lot sooner. But it's 3,000 miles or 3 months is what they always say. And usually manufacturers nowadays it's between 9,000 and 12,000 miles that you should be able to go between an oil change without any issues, according to the manufacturer. But it's vehicle dependent, but it's somewhere around that area.
Yeah, Volkswagen tells me once a year or every 5,000 miles.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised once a year. I've never actually heard the once a year part.
Yeah, I only get my oil change once a year because I never go 5,000 miles.
I only get my oil change once a year too, but that's just because I didn't get a chance to change it last year.
Oh no, Jeff. I mean, but you got it. Well, I mean, you don't go far in DC.
That many miles. It's I drive 3 miles to work every day.
Yeah.
The farthest I drive is 9 miles to the fire station in my.
The sad part is it takes them 4 hours.
Yeah, it does. Fire station, when I have meetings on Wednesday nights, I leave my house at 5:30 to get to a 7 o'clock meeting 9 miles away. Actually, granted, that one takes me 30 miles. It's really strange. If I go straight from the hospital, you take a route through the center of DC, which sucks because of traffic, but it's only 9 miles long. At my house, instead of going back through more of DC, I take the loop around from the BW Parkway up to 495, and it's a 30-mile loop, but it takes you the exact same amount of time.
Jeez, that's just absurd and wrong and awful. Where is this block, and why can I not see it?
What block? Oh, right-click it.
Yeah, Breon said, you know what? Everything Breon suggests is basically bullshit. I don't know if you know Breon, but he suggested borderless gaming. It was awful.
If I don't know what you want to.
I said, I don't know if you know Breon. I guess you met him at the marathons.
Yes, multiple of them in London.
Did Breon go to London?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he did. Maybe it was one of our other booths.
Yeah, I don't think he went to London.
I don't know.
But yeah, I guess you know who Breon is. I mean, you don't go to all the conventions, so I guess it was possible you didn't. But you definitely met him at the marathon, no matter what.
Lately that I wasn't invited to.
I mean, you're invited always.
Did you go to conventions
no.
recently? I didn't think we went
No,
to conventions anymore.
Some people do, just not me and you.
Well, but
Chad
not as
still
like
goes.
we never have like a Minecraft or a Minecraft
Nah,
group or
no.
booth or
Right.
panel or anything like that.
Right. No, the closest thing to a convention these days, I guess, is the marathon. No. Though, I mean, it is being run by Chad and Aurelian, so it's basically a Minecraft convention.
It might as well be a Minecraft marathon.
But no, I guess the marathon's the closest thing to our conventions now. Speaking of the marathon, I guess by this episode goes out, it'll come and gone. But this weekend we got a marathon.
Oh, wait, we do? What?
Yeah, I meant to mention this before because we've been trying to organize it in Discord. I guess you don't read Discord?
No.
Yeah, that's why you don't know anything that's going on because we don't use Skype anymore at all. Did you know that?
I don't. Yeah, I don't even have Skype turned on anymore. But
Yeah.
I just Skype. At least I had a system for glancing over at my Skype and being able to easily see messages in the categories I needed to see messages in. I don't use Discord enough to know the nuances to getting that set up in an easy to see way.
Right. Well, we've been organizing a marathon for about a month now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's this weekend.
Well, cool.
Next weekend. What's
happening in it?
There'll be a UHC. It's instead of how we basically it's a spring marathon, so we're not going anywhere. It's the one that we do every spring, but normally it's just a UHC.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But this year, instead of it just being a UHC, we're gonna make it 24 hours. Try to do a little bit more. So yeah, we should. The opening starts on the server, so I want to mention this to you because I noticed you hadn't been talking in Discord about it at all. I was
yeah,
the only other person that plays on the server with me. Hopefully, you could be here.
Is the schedule all filled up?
No. So if you want to stream, but so the hours that aren't filled are awful.
I wouldn't expect that any other way. But yeah. I mean, I might stream. Who knows? We'll see. I'll look at the schedule, see what's going on.
Well, you can join me either way. I'm the first 14 hours I'm here.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, it's my marathon, really. It's a good marathon for Extra Life.
I'm actually going to an Extra Life DC event.
Really?
I was invited to some opening ceremony type deal for the DC group of it sometime next month, and it
DC
happens
Guild?
to be. Yeah, I don't know if it's the guild or what, but it was. It happens to be at Children's Hospital in DC at 2 to 5 on a Friday. I literally stare at Children's Hospital out my window.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna walk over there and be like, "What's up? I'm here for the event."
That's cool. Do you have your own personal page? You probably don't.
So I do. No, I do. They had me make one after the Extra Life United because there was some money involved. So I guess I ended up donating somehow $200 and some odd.
Right, from those little bucks or whatever.
Yeah. So I never gave my bucks to anybody because
I didn't either.
Because they collected them on that Saturday night or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I didn't know what happened to my bucks either.
Yeah, but somehow they told me they wanted me to make a page. Sent me an email, told me to make a page because they were going to attribute any of my earnings toward my page or whatever. And then it popped up the next day, and they're like, your $211 worth of donations earned has now been attributed to your account. I don't know where that money came from. Can somebody donate to me?
They can.
Could they have given
but no, you need a
me?
page. So no, they would need it. You would need that page ahead of time.
So I wonder how I earned any money. Getting to maybe winning anything, did that automatically earn you a couple some dollars?
I think so. There were things you could. How far did you get? Did you get deep?
I got first place in one of the very first round of a board game tournament and went to the semifinals or whatever it was.
Oh, maybe that. I don't know if that's enough or not, honestly. So I don't know. Maybe because I didn't play in the board game, so that might be different too.
I think it was after mine. The two winners from the round that I lost, the two top winners, would go to the finals of that particular board game.
Yeah, you might have got some money for that then.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Cool. I didn't know. I was wondering how I was like, I didn't give them my bucks, and I felt really bad.
Yeah,
it was like $75 that I planned on. And I actually had more because the one of the guys came around when I started one of the normal gaming tournaments, and he was just like $5 on the winner of this, and walked away. And he just put $5 down on the table for whoever won of those buck things, and I was like, sweet. Huh.
That's cool. I mean, that happened to me with someone I was playing against, and they were like, "Let's bet 20 on the game." I was like, sure, whatever. And then I beat him, and so I had that, and also I beat Arcus at some Street Fighter. And I took some money from him, and so I also had extra, but I also missed the turn in. So, yeah, poor kids.
I'm about to die. Like, no joke.
Don't die, Jeff. Well, if you live, we're also out of time.
Well, wouldn't I be out of time?
You would also be out of time
if I died.
You'd be really out of time. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
See ya.